What's up out there? Let's talk about S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2. This was developed and published by GSC Game World. It was released November 20th, 2024. It is currently priced at $59.99 for the standard version. There's a couple of more expensive versions if you want some season pass or whatever else DLC they've got coming with it down the road. There is no demo for it. The reviews on Steam are very positive, and the final thing I will lead off with is the performance can be very abysmal, and I'm going to show you how bad the performance can get. It's something I can just go do. You will also notice that in the upper right hand corner of the screen I have an FPS counter, which also shows, this is the NVIDIA one. It shows the GPU utilization and CPU utilization. I have heard or read through Reddit or Steam comments or something that this game is heavy on CPU. I don't remember what CPU I have, but I have a 3070 video card. And it's not, I looked at the gamer or hardware requirements. I'm not at the low end. And I imagine my CPU is kind of midline as well as the GPU. So I'm getting 102 FPS where I sit right now. It'll drop down a little bit to 93. Sometimes it goes down to 60 or 70. I just put this NVIDIA thing on here recently to check it out and see how it goes. Hope these guys are going to come shooting at me. They look safe. Probably been firing on me by now otherwise. But I've tried various things to make this play better. Let me back up. The game, when this game plays correctly, it's fine. I have no issues with it. Everything is cool. When this game goes to tank, and I can do it by going into that town over there, it drops down to 8 FPS with a 99% GPU utilization and like a 5 or 20% CPU utilization. So it's not CPU. I don't know if it's a problem there or not. This is also November 29th. We had a patch today that was supposed to fix a bunch of problems. The thing that I find very troubling is that I don't see them talking about performance enough. They're talking about bugs and everything else. Maybe a majority of people are playing this game without issue. I'm having a lot of problems with it. My PC, it struggles. You're seeing that the FPS is fine. It's not a problem. I can run through here and everything is cool. When we get to this town or somewhere in this surrounding area, this thing will tank. However, I do have some other complaints about the performance, kind of some general Unity or Unreal 5 engine problems. I will say that this game feels comparable to Escape from Tarkov. Escape from Tarkov runs on Unity, and I get about the same FPS on Escape from Tarkov. So depending on map, you might have more or less FPS, but by and large, I would say this feels, if I put a weapon out and ADS, this feels pretty much like Escape from Tarkov. It's just the way it is. This feels fine. This feels like most other FPS games that I play. So, setting that as a baseline, I didn't really have any issues with Witchfire, which is also on Unreal 5, and then Forever Winter's also on Unreal 5. And I was going to make a complaint about Unreal 5 and the stuttering and the shader caching or compiling shaders or whatever. And then I looked up some other games that were on Unreal 5, and I noticed that Satisfactory was on there. I've never once that I can recall had that compile shaders. It may have, but I don't remember it. This game, well, let me back up. Witchfire took several minutes to compile shaders. Forever Winter took several minutes to compile shaders. So it's an Unreal 5 thing. It's just going to take a while. My understanding is that while you're compiling, or when you compile the shaders one time, then you don't ever have to deal with it unless you change GPUs or upgrade your drivers or something like that. So that's my expectation. I have to suffer through 2 or 3 to 5 minutes of shader compilation, and then it stops, and I don't see that until something changes. This game right here has such a problem with it, and I timed it. Sometimes the first time it takes about 5 minutes to load shaders. Okay, that's the first load. Every time I open this game, it compiles shaders. It doesn't matter if I close this game right now and turn it back on, just immediately turn it on. No other games, no other nothing. I just close this out and open it back up. It will compile shaders for 2 minutes. When it does that 5-minute shader compilation, my fans are screaming loud, like really loud. So there's something wrong with that. It's so bad. And I don't know if it's Nexus Mods or Mod Nexus, whatever that website is. They've got a mod. It's bad enough. There's a mod to stop the compilation of shaders every time you start this. You can't cancel out of it. You can't escape past it. You're just stuck for minutes at a time. And I had to just finally mod it out. It was miserable. The only thing I could do is just sit there and wait and wait and wait and wait. And that's not playing a video game. That's just waiting on shader compilation. And you see if it, I don't know if you noticed there, but it stuttered a little bit. That's very common too. This thing stutters a lot. That's another complaint that I have is just how much stutter it is. You notice my GPU or my frame rate's dropping. We're down to 44 because I'm getting close to this town up here. This is where things go to just fall apart. Now I may be centered around this town, sure, but I can get 60, 70 FPS in this town. So if I load up and I'm in the town already, I get decent FPS. It's definitely a little bit lower, but this is dropping considerably. We're now down to, I saw 38 in there for a second. We're down to 47. This is kind of playable still. I know this town has some issues, and I know it's specifically this one. So I think some of the stuff, there was memory leaks and things like that they were addressing with today's patch and all that, but there's still periodic stutter. The game just drops off a cliff as far as performance goes. And you never know when you're going to get this performance drop. I don't know if it's specific to this town. I was doing some testing earlier today, and I found out that every time I open the PDA in this town, my performance just drops into a slideshow. Why might you open a PDA in town? Well, if you're there's a quest that I had to turn in, and there was 2 different people to choose from of where to turn the quest in. Well, I don't know where they're at, so I opened the PDA to go figure out who I needed to turn it into. And I wasn't even testing anything. I was just playing the game after today's patch. And I had 8 FPS. I was like, man, this is ridiculous. So, and I had played for about 45 minutes before that, and everything was fine. You know, I ran the mission, did what I needed to do, came over here, and then everything just dropped off a cliff. So, the compiling shaders thing just drives me bananas. That's on almost every Unreal 5 game I've ever played. Personally, I would prefer that these guys just dropped back to Unreal 4 or something. I don't care. This looks great. That's fine. But the amount of performance issues we get from this is not worth it. I'd rather play the game and enjoy it than be stuck with this. And with Unreal 5, you get the compiling shaders problem. And I'll get off that soapbox because I'll be on it for a while if I don't. It's also affecting other game purchases that I'm looking at. I'm thinking about buying Gray Zone Warfare, but that's Unreal 5 and it's got performance issues. Up until I saw that Satisfactory was on Unreal 5, I was thinking, man, this engine just sucks. But maybe it's the developers. Maybe they can't figure out how to optimize it. This is a fully released game, by the way. This is not early access like Forever Winter or Witchfire. This is fully released, so it should not have these issues, in my opinion. So, at any rate, we'll jump off that. There's the periodic stutter. You're just kind of walking along, and then all of a sudden it just pauses for a little bit. Sometimes the pause is a little bit longer than others. The hard frame rate drop, like I'm at 36 FPS right now. And you may say, oh, well, don't run it on Epic. Change the quality down to high or something like that. It doesn't matter. I can bounce back and forth. I can actually toggle it to high quality and then toggle it back up to Epic and get the frame rate back. It fixes it. Here's where it really breaks. Oh, not this. I'm in the wrong button. Wrong button. I need PDA. So if I turn this on and I start zooming in and out, my frame rate is going to just drop off an absolute cliff. And it's actually going up. Usually it goes down. Sometimes it's hit or miss. That's why I didn't want to hit that again. Sometimes it's hit or miss, but it's frequently when I go into town here and I'm at this map. Normally it's when I'm looking down too. I don't know if that's got anything to do with it. I got to hit the... Now I've got 91 FPS. Like, it's completely inconsistent. I had horrible frame rate for a minute. I look at the map, and then it goes up. Like, it doesn't make any sense. How are you supposed to play this game when you have random performance drops like that? My GPU is not even very utilized either. CPU has gone up a little bit, but the GPU is not. Now it's at 98%. Now we're almost there. This is actually still kind of playable. It actually hasn't broken yet. Normally it's broken by now. And I just turned this on to record this. My recorder says I'm 10 minutes in. So this isn't some memory leak that, it's sitting here for hours and, I've been playing for 10 minutes and there it is, 6 FPS. That's it right there. That's the problem. I loaded around in town to try to show this off, and there you go. So my CPU is only at 24%. GPU is pegged off at 99%. It's basically a complete slideshow. One thing I can do, if it records my escape button, sometimes it doesn't record the button presses. We're still getting 6 FPS. I can go over here. I can swap this down to take my click. Come on, you can do it. We're still slideshow. Sometimes this fixes it, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it takes time to load in. Like you get a lot of stuff popping in, but eventually it picks up. Usually I can get out of town and do this. Didn't fix it. We'll go back into the options menu. Let's go back to graphics. We'll turn this back up to epic quality. Think. Yep, there it is. Come on, take the escape key. Typically, if I get out of town, the problem goes away. It doesn't go away immediately. Sometimes I have to change the resolution up or down or whatever. I think I'm running at 1440. I have not tried setting this to like 1080 or anything like that. There's no reason to, because when I'm outside of this town, things typically run fairly well and I don't have issues. But this slideshow is definitely not fun. I didn't even know there was an anomaly there. Can't even see it. Let's see if we can swap this over. To fix this, I typically have to just close the game and restart it. But this comes up most notably when I'm in that town. And when I'm around that town, the performance is atrocious. Now keep in mind, they did do a patch today to fix issues around that town, and they didn't fix them. It's still not fixed. So this is my Stalker 2 experience. There we go. FPS is back. Oh, but it's because I turned it down. I turned the graphics options down. Let's turn them back up again. It'll tank off for a little bit. Generally, it comes back after everything loads. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But I started this running on epic quality when I was down the road over here, away from this town. It ran fine. So you kind of just have to jiggle the cable until it works. And it's not guaranteed that if I turn the graphics down that it's going to get fixed. I wonder if I can go into the PDA. Will that like change the... I don't know if like changing the view or something makes it responsive or whatever. No, that didn't do it. I've not found a reliable way to get it fixed. Generally, I can go into options and swap from epic to high or high to epic, whichever one, and it will work. There, it's back to normal there. Let's go down the road just a tad. Should be able to get this thing back. And this is why I have 6 hours in the game. It's certainly not from playing it. So there we are on epic quality at 92 FPS. I just have to jiggle the cable until it works. It doesn't matter whether I set DLSS or whatever I set on those things. I've not been able to get around this issue. So let's talk about mods real quick. There's a mod to remove the compiling shader thing. Somebody had a performance mod, which I'm gonna wait and see if they update it after this patch, and then I'll probably try to apply that mod again. There was also a link in the Steam page somewhere, in the Steam discussion somewhere, where somebody was talking about some settings that you could do. Now it's completely dark and the it doesn't matter. But there was a page on, there was a thread on Steam where somebody gave you like some Unreal Engine 5 engine changes. It was in the not the discussions part, but the guide part. There was a guide where it actually explained, here, take this, copy all these lines, add them into a specific config file, and it's supposed to improve stuff. When I saw this patch was out today, I took both the mods that I had for performance and the shader thing and that INI file and rolled all those changes back to where it was just vanilla game. And I had the exact same issues. I put those mods and the changes back in. Aside from the performance mod, I didn't want to try that one until it gets updated, but the shader caching was driving me nuts, and I tried the Unreal Engine changes. It's not helped. None of it's helped at all. Like, it may help some FPS. I might be getting 92 instead of 85 or something like that. But this, if I go near that town, and you may say, don't go near that town. Well, the main story's over there in the town. How am I supposed to not go over there? Like, this, you get out of here and you go play in some other area and then come back to this, and then it just dies. I can't remember if the performance has actually crapped out while I was out in combat or not, but it's been enough of an issue that it's miserable to play, so I've kind of given up on it. I was excited to see the patch today. I tried it out, and it still didn't do very well. As far as the actual game goes, I'm going to see try to find a mod that takes away this durability stuff. This is annoying. I don't even want to deal with this durability at all. Every time you fire a gun, it basically goes from, hey, I just found it, and it's almost junk, to now it's just completely junk. You can't sell any of the red weapons, so, and the cost to repair these, I think it's like 15 grand or something. It costs a lot of money to repair your equipment, and I don't have the money to repair it. I can't sell the stuff that I found, so it's kind of a waste of time carrying all this crap around. I've got ammo. I've got food and stuff that I need to use. And that's another thing that's kind of annoying. When you're hungry, down in the lower left, it shows like a little chicken bone. I would much prefer it to show like the health or stamina meter where you can see that your hunger is going down. It just shows a little chicken bone. Hey, you need to eat. Well, the thing is, the chicken bone changes color. Sometimes it's full white, which means you're totally starving, or it's slightly gray or whatever, and you have to... Oh, bugs or something out there. But sometimes it's like light gray, and that means you need to eat like one piece of food, or if it's white, you have to eat a whole bunch of food. It'd be nice if it was an actual meter, like, you know, you get the radiation meter, the life meter, and the stamina meter and all that stuff. That'd be kind of nice. Supposedly today's patch fixed some of the spongy monsters so they're not as spongy. I'm completely out of ammo. Like, I have ammo for a 9x19, but I don't have a 9x19. I have what is this? This should be, yeah, this is 9x19, but it's just 5 rounds. Really? I don't have any more? I thought I could reload into this. Huh. Well, it shouldn't be any more in my inventory. Yeah, okay. 9x18. But at any rate, I don't have enough ammo for anything. Actually, I dropped some ammo off, but it's ammo for guns that I don't have. The only other thing that I would complain about is that to toggle the flashlight, and they said they're going to fix this, you have to hold tab and click F, and then it turns it on, and then you got a nice fancy flashlight, and you got to tab F to turn it off. But sometimes you just change your weapon instead of, I don't know, whatever. Hopefully they fix some of this, but unfortunately, my experience with this game is that it's not very playable at all. I see people playing it and flying through it. And, you know, a lot of streamers and everybody are talking about it, but they've got high-end PCs, and they apparently just brute force over whatever issues are here. I don't think my CPU is bad. I've got a 3070, which is more than the requirements. I've got 32 gigs of RAM. I am not recording it on my main PC, so I don't have that overhead. This is screen capture on a second PC. So why broke? You know, why is it broke? Why can't I cheeky breaky and be happy? And when this does play well, I would say this game really captures the vibe of the original game. I don't have very many hours in the original game. I own them. I planned on getting through them before this one released, but I just haven't had time. I have not taken the time. Path of Exile kind of gets in the way, but I own them. I do want to play through them at some point. If this one continues to not be playable, I may just go back and play the original one. I'm not entirely sure. I need to go through those at some point. I've watched all the lore and stuff about them, so I kind of know what happens. I just want to play them and get a feel for them. But I think, as far as I can tell, this game captures the vibe and does everything it's supposed to do. It's just got the frame issues. It's horrible. So, I can run around here in the overworld anywhere away from that town and I'm getting 80 to 90 FPS, upwards of 100, and it's not a problem. But if I go by that town, I can't play at all. And it's miserable. So, and the bad thing is, and maybe the quests go away from there, but that's the only place I can play right now because that's where my main story quests are, and I have to go back there and do stuff. I could probably, suffer through this and deal with 8 FPS to go talk to the guy or something like that, but who wants to play like that? That's miserable. So I'm hoping they fix it. The thing that I don't like is that I'm looking at the developers' news that they're posting out and little stories that they put on Steam. All they're talking about are bugs and stuff in the game. They're barely talking about performance issues at all. They talked about some memory leaks that they fixed. They did some other things. Like, they've definitely fixed a few things, but this performance is atrocious, and they need to figure out, is it more memory leaks? Whatever the problem is, it just needs to get fixed. So anyway, S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 is a bit of a bust for me. I keep coming back and trying it. I try different mods. I try different configuration settings. I wait for their patch. I've tried other things. I've been trying to be patient with it. I don't hate the game. I'd like to actually play it, but it's been kind of a frustrating experience so far. And quite honestly, it's just going to get shelved here in a few days when Path of Exile 2 comes out. So I guess I'm just going to have to wait until it's actually playable. But anyway, that is my experience with S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2. Hopefully yours is better if you are interested in it. But that's what I have for today. So that's going to do it for this video. We will catch you on the next one. Take care.